Hello and welcome, my friends. Tonight I am going to tell you a scary story, so please make yourselves comfortable and rest in peace while I am recounting a particularly interesting legend from my hometown. The legend is called A Witch's Curse. Close to where I live, there is a place in the forest with a dark history. There are many stories and legends about it, but I will tell you the version that I have learned from a man whose family has lived closest to that property for centuries. The name of the place can be freely translated as Martha's Cross. And these days it is a dark and densely wooded lot, with plenty of fir trees and spruces throwing shadow over the two roads that meet in a T-shaped crossing at one end of the lot. Somewhere in the Middle Ages there stood a house on this lot. Its inhabitants, a woman who in the dark pages of history is simply called Martha, and her litter of children, the number of whom is not stated. There's no mention of Martha's husband, if he was still living or if there ever had been one. The story begins when Martha's children were suddenly discovered dead. She was accused of their murder and brought before a jury and tried. Many witnesses accused Martha of being a witch and of having sacrificed the children to the devil. Finally, Martha was indeed convicted of murder and sentenced to death by burning at the stake. When it was time to carry out the sentence, Martha was tied to a stake and the pyre was lit. The legend says she was full of fury, and before the flames started to lick her flesh, she was able to cry out a curse for everyone to hear. No house or home you will ever try to build on my land shall ever be spared. They will all burn! During the past 100 years, there have been 2 fires on that property. Currently, there are no buildings standing on the approximate area where Martha's house is rumored to have stood. Nowadays, there is instead a field of horses that reaches to the approximate location of the house. However, this lot carries a looming sense of threat, especially if you happen to stray to the area in the dark. Whenever I have happened to the place at nightfall, my body gets all tense, as though all my muscles are preparing for an immediate flight upon hearing the slightest snap of a twig from the depths of the woods. Okay, hope you enjoyed the tale. I surely did. I tend to get tears in my eyes when recounting the story because, as I said, it gets a little bit too close to home. I hope to post further stories as I have plenty to tell, but in the meantime, Please do let me know if you have encountered a similar legend or have any knowledge of stories that have something in common with the one I just recounted. Would be much obliged. Good night now, my friends. I'm off to get a late night cuppa.